Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
You're listening to 1050 ESPN. Your home for New York Islanders hockey. WEPN New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Now on Sports Center all night. An arrest warrant has been issued for a top NFL draft prospect.
Teams are going to look at him differently in light of this. He is a talented enough prospect, as you surely know, to be the #1 overall pick in the draft. But there have been some concerns about him.
LeBron isn't the only Laker not facing the Thunder.
He's never going to be the guy, and that's okay. That's not a knock. He's a piece of a championship team. He's just not going to be the catalyst like a LeBron, a Giannis, or a Jokic.
Kevin Durant makes his son's debut.
Durant trailing the play. Hesitates, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. There you go, the first bucket for KD in the Suns uniform.
We hear from Aaron Rodgers after his darkness retreat.
I've been doubted before. There's probably people that think I'm done. I thought I was done before I became co-MVP twice. Again, there'll be plenty of inspiration down that road.
This is Sports Center all night.
See, why do we do this? You guys are embarrassing me. I should have made it look more
unbelievable.
I mean, what is it? I'm never going to get a man.
Here's Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Aaron Rodgers, yes, has spoken. That's straight ahead. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant has returned to the court. KD dealt to Phoenix prior to the NBA's trade deadline, making his Suns' debut as they played Wednesday in Charlotte.
Booker able to track it down, gives to Paul, who fakes the three. Now Durant trailing the play, hesitates, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. There you go, the first bucket for KD in the Suns uniform, and it comes on a dribble drive and a left-hand finish off the window.
KD getting his first bucket in the first quarter. He was on a minutes restriction, but still played 27 and really showed no lingering effects from his sprained right knee, the one that kept him out of action for more than 7 weeks.
Here's Jock Landale getting the inbounds pass, dribbles left side and gives to Durant. Pull up 20-footer, count it, and the foul as he gets knocked down to his backside. KD with a deuce and the damage. Chris Paul double team, finds Durant top of the arc. He turns, then drives on Oubre, jumper up from the free throw line. Good again for KD, who's got it cooking in the fourth. He's 10 out of 14 on the night. 23 points for the Suns, and they lead it by 11.
Arizona Sports 98.7. Suns win it 105-91. KD finishes with 23 points on an efficient 10 of 15 shooting in his 27 minutes. 23 points on 15 shots. Suns get the win. And KD spoke with Valley Sports Arizona.
A lot of nerves. I done played in almost 1,000 basketball games, but today I was nervous. You know, it's a new team, new group. I want to do well. I want to play hard for them and be coachable. So I was thinking about all of that today. But once the ball was tipped, my teammates were incredible and making me comfortable. And I just try to go out there and play my game.
I'll tell you what, you do not look nervous out there on the floor. You just look like you've done it 1,000 times, and it just looks beautiful. I mean, we had a smile on our face the entire game watching you play. You obviously had to enjoy getting back out on the floor as well.
Man, I missed the game. It's tough, you know, missing a month of the season, but I'm glad my knee's back right. I'm glad I'm just on the road to, you know, playing more and more minutes each game, and I'm looking forward to what we can do from we can build from this. So, you know, I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to the next game.
Yeah, I don't think other teams around the NBA are all that excited, though. How did it feel alongside Devin Booker? The two of you combined for 60 points on 25 of 41 shooting from the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to have to do if we want to get to where we want to go, is be efficient basketball players and, you know, be aggressive on the offensive end, open it up for our teammates. I think Book, you know, with 7-8 assists tonight, we're opening things up for everybody as well as scoring. And we're going to need that going forward.
I'll tell you what, It's a luxury, though. I mean, you're going to need it. I mean, but even Leander, the little Tom here, said, my favorite moment in the first half was watching Devin Booker come in for Kevin Durant. I mean, you've got to – I saw a few smiles and a few excited moments when you watch Booker and what he's able to do out there on the floor as well.
Yeah, he's just a pure basketball player, somebody that works on his game and then to translate over to the real game. So he's one of a kind, man. And he came out tonight. He missed some free throws, but he came out tonight and got some good looks up and was able to lead us to this W. So we try to build on this.
KD with 23 points in the Suns win. Devin Booker, 37 points, his most points scored since returning from his groin injury. Durant, Booker, DeAndre Ayton combined for 76 points on 32 of 51 shooting. First good outing, but how much time do we need to see if this is going to gel in Phoenix? ESPN analyst Monica McNutt.
I need 5 games is what I've decided to see. Because continuity is real. You got to get on the court with guys, right? I do think that the relationship between Book, CP3, and Kevin Durant, as far as their Olympic team experience, will expedite this process. And we know that KD is a seamless basketball player. Give him an offense, give him a chance to grasp the offense and his teammates' tendencies. Insert, you have buckets. And so I'm not really concerned. I do think when I look at the West, the Nuggets to me are still the team you got to go get. But I need 5 games. It won't take long.
Suns led the whole game en route to the win over the Hornets. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. Tuesday night, the Milwaukee Bucks closed out February with a victory, beating the Nets for their 15th consecutive win. Then we turn the calendar to March. And on Wednesday, Bucks were hosting Orlando.
Well, the beat goes on. It's a new month, but it's the same story for the Bucks, who start the month of March off with a bang. They have won 16 consecutive games. This one with a little extra dose of fury. 139-117 behind 26 three-pointers, a season high for the Bucks here tonight.
So it's out on WTMJ. Bucks get the win. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 31 points on 10 of 14 shooting, consecutive 30-point games after playing a total of 16 minutes in the previous 3 games combined. Bucks extending their win streak to 16. In Boston, Celtics and Cavs in a game that Boston led by as much as 21, thanks in part to Jason Tatum.
Tatum is rolling. Let's see if Mobley can check it. Jalen pulls away for setting the screens, and Tatum steps back into another 3. Who's next? 27 points in a quarter and a half for Jason Tatum. He's up to 29 for the game. Celtics back into Tatum. Spins on Jared Allen. Left-hand finger roll. Up and good. And he has gone to a different place right now.
And Allen, as much as he wants to guard you, he gets away from that island. And you start making the moves of Tootsie's. Tough on it.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Celtics hang on to beat the Cavaliers by 4, 117-113. Jason Tatum, 41 points, 11 rebounds. His 9th 40-point game this season. And after the win, Tatum spoke with our Malika Andrews.
Your 9th 40-point game of the season. Only Larry Bird has more 40-point games in a single season. After a frustrating last game, what was working so well for you tonight?
Got off to a good start. They just kept staying aggressive, right? What happened in the past is the past. You can't change it. And it just felt good to get back home, right? All-star break, go right to Indiana. It's been 2 weeks since I stepped in my home bed. So good to be home, good to get a home-cooked meal, and good to be back in front of our fans.
There's nothing like a home-cooked meal, although Donovan Mitchell was cooking and he was not at home. We've talked before about how when you are across from a guy who is putting up a performance like that, iron sharpens iron. What did you see from him?
Yeah, he's one of the most special and talented guys in this league, and somebody I got a great relationship with. Same class, known each other for a long time. So, like you said, bring out the best in each other. And as a competitor, you love that. You love to play against the best and show up for the challenge.
This was the first win of the season that you all have had against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the last 2 games, you've most recently played them back in November. What was different about this Celtics team as a whole tonight?
I think our points off turnovers and giving up offensive rebounds. They're big, long team. And both of those games went in overtime. They compete. They're well coached. So it's going to be a tough battle every time, but you got to take care of the ball and limit the one chance opportunities to give yourself a chance.
Jason Tatum with his 6th 40-point double-double in his career comes in the Celtics win. Donovan Mitchell, 44 points, in the loss for Cleveland. Back to the West, and a couple of teams battling to extend their seasons. Lakers, Thunder, two teams outside the play-in scenario at the moment. On the court in OKC.
Right side to Austin Reeves. Reeves dribbles right all the way to the rim. Reverse layup. Good. Huge bucket by Austin Reeves to put the Lakers up 8. 2:25 to go in the fourth.
710 ESPN LA. Lakers a 123-117 win over the Thunder. They are now 2-4 this season without LeBron James or Anthony Davis together in the lineup. Coach Darvin Ham.
I think D'Lo and AD getting to see how the guys are competing. And, when they get back in the mix, they know it's a standard that's being set. And there's a level in which we got to play at in order to get done what we need to get done in terms of the overall big picture of playing in the postseason. But just got to take it day by day. And as long as we keep getting these type of contributions from our guys up and down the roster, I feel good about where we'll land.
Lakers landing right now in the number 11 spot in the Western Conference in the NBA. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
There's a finality to the decision, and I don't make it lightly.
I think that this is Aaron Rodgers coming to grips with potentially leaving a place that he's been for 18 years.
This is my life, and I'll make a decision soon enough.
Out of the darkness, shedding some light on the situation. A little bit of light, anyway. Aaron Rodgers on the Aubrey Marcus podcast, which dropped Wednesday, saying he found an inner peace during his 4-day darkness retreat last week.
It's a very, there's a finality to the decision, and I don't make it lightly. I don't want to drag anybody around. Look, I'm answering questions about it because I asked about it. I'm talking about it because it's important to me. If you don't like it, and you think it's drama, you think I'm being a diva, whatever, then just tune it out. It's fine. But this is my life. It's important to me. And I'll make a decision soon enough, and we'll go down that road and be really excited about it.
Rodgers finding peace in the dark, and our Chris Canty says peace may be what you need if you're making a tough call.
I think that this is Aaron Rodgers coming to grips with potentially leaving a place that he's been for 18 years and a place that he's had a lot of success in. And quite frankly, every NFL player has a hard time leaving their home. Every player wants to have a home for their football career, for their post-career, and Green Bay is that home for Aaron Rodgers. It's a tough thing to have to leave home, and I think this darkness retreat and this time for introspection is, leading Aaron Rodgers down the road that he's probably going to leave the organization and continue his football someplace else.
ESPN analyst Rob Ninkovich agrees.
Aaron Rodgers will not be a Green Bay Packer this season coming up. And I say that because from an outsider, outside of the whole situation, I'm sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers and the whole process. So imagine being the team. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is upset. He doesn't have control over some personnel. Well, we'll give him some control. Okay, there's one. Oh, Aaron Rodgers feels like you drafted Love in the first round, so you need to show me the love. Give him a big contract. Oh, we'll guarantee you $100 million, $50 million a year, whatever. He's going to make a lot of money. We've done that. And every single year, it's the same exact thing.
And to that point, ESPN's Jeff Darlington.
No longer does it feel like the Packers are simply going to kiss the ring of Aaron Rodgers and say, we need you back. We got to have you back. It is no longer that tone. It is, if you want to be a part of this organization, you need to call us. You need to commit. You need to show us that is going to be the case. And that is a very different tone. And that is, by the way, problematic if, in fact, you do want Aaron Rodgers back. Because now we're talking about two egos here. One person who's a franchise quarterback and who believes that he has done a great deal for this organization, and another in a person who is overseeing an organization he believes is bigger than any one player.
Aaron Rodgers saying he found peace, but still holding off on making any decisions publicly again this week. Speaking of a different tone, a much different tone hitting the NFL draft this week. That's straight ahead. SportsCenter All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Thursday, which teams are true title contenders? I'll give you my top 5, and my number 1 team might just surprise you. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, and ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter All Night.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Michael K. Show is on. The Knicks have a chance to be the 4th seed after beating the best team in basketball.
There's no question they're good, and I think you should just enjoy it. Instead of trying to extrapolate it out to what it's all going to mean to the end of the day, they've won 2 games this year against the Celtics to have the best record in the NBA. They are clearly a playoff team, and there's no reason why you can't set your sights on the 4 seed and host the Cavaliers in the first round.
Don't miss the Michael K. Show, weekdays at 3 on 98.7 ESPN.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine. With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The all-new Weekend Wager comes to 98.7 ESPN on Friday nights at 10 p.m. It's presented by BetMGM Sports. Don't be left out of the action.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. The NFL Combine, the NFL Draft may be dramatically altered by tragic, life-altering decisions in mid-January. Former Georgia star Jalen Carter, one of the top prospects on the NFL Draft Board, is being charged with reckless driving and racing in connection with the crash that killed his teammate and a recruiting staff member on January 15th. The police initially said the incident was a single-vehicle accident, but the announcement of the charges against Carter comes shortly after a report from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which noted Carter was present at the scene of the crash and then wound up providing shifting accounts of the wreck to police. ESPN's Mark Schlabach.
LaCroix, a UGA recruiting staffer, was driving the Ford Expedition that Carter was allegedly racing. Athens Clarke County Police say that Expedition was traveling 104 miles per hour when it crashed. They also said in a statement on Wednesday that her blood alcohol content level was 0.197, which is about 2.5 times the legal limit in Georgia. Police said alcohol impairment, racing, reckless driving, and speeding contributed to the crash. Carter faces 2 misdemeanor counts, one for reckless driving, one for racing. Both of those carry up to 12 months in prison maximum sentence and a $1,000 fine. Talking to attorneys in the Athens area on Wednesday, they tell me that those sentences are typically served through probation and that Carter would probably be facing a lengthy driver's license suspension.
As Mark Schlabach noted, reckless driving and racing, both misdemeanors in the state of Georgia. That said, there could be real repercussions. Of course, 2 people died as a result of the accident. And from a football sense, from Carter's perspective, Carter is a top prospect for the NFL. ESPN NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum.
This is a terrible situation, but you do have time. And the fundamental question, Scott, we would have to answer from a team perspective is this a really good person who had a once-in-a-lifetime aberrational event and there's no other pattern of bad behavior, or is this somebody with a real problem? And again, it's a terrible situation, but fortunately, they have time. We're sitting here, it's early March. You have several more weeks to the draft, and now you have to scour and get the right information to make the determination that if you gave Jalen Carter more time and more money, how is that going to play out on the next level? And now if you're the Bears, Scott, this is huge because if you were going to trade back maybe and stick with Justin Fields and you're thinking, well, I could come out of this with either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. Now, if it's only Will Anderson, maybe you can only trade back to 2 to Houston and not 4 to Indianapolis.
Bears hold that number 1 overall pick and have been leaning toward making a deal. But ESPN Bears reporter Courtney Cronin notes this could alter the draft landscape.
Could potentially change everything. This is a team that has the number 1 overall pick. A lot of different, ways that they could maneuver where they are currently on the draft board. General Manager Ryan Poles talked to us yesterday, confirming that they are indeed leaning towards trading back out of that number 1 spot. And we do know that the 3-technique spot for the Chicago Bears in the league's worst pass rush is an area that they want to upgrade. I've talked with Coach Matt Eberflus about it. He calls that position the engine that makes everything go up front on defense. And Jalen Carter was a prospect that they met with on Monday night here in Indianapolis. Certainly a position of need, but we don't know at this time, as this is a developing situation, how far that could, the news of the arrest warrant could cause him to fall down their draft board or whether he'll remain on it at all going forward.
Carter had been slated to speak with reporters as part of a previously scheduled media availability Wednesday, but ultimately did not speak. In a statement posted to social media, Carter saying he intends to return to Athens to, quote, answer the misdemeanor charges against me and make certain that the complete and accurate truth is presented. His representative saying they're making arrangements for him to turn himself in. Georgia coach Kirby Smart in a statement, quote, the charges announced are deeply concerning, especially as we are still struggling to cope with the devastating loss of 2 beloved members of our community. The crash occurred hours after the Bulldogs celebrated winning back-to-back national championships with their parade and ceremony. SportsCenter all night, ESPN Radio. Speaking of college football, we could see some significant changes on the horizon. ESPN's Dan Murphy.
As the season grows longer with an expanded playoff starting in 2024, college football is hunting for ways to keep the overall number of plays or exposures that athletes log in a season from expanding as well. Doing that means carving time out of regular season games.
We wanted to take a look at if we could get those extra games in without adding exposures to any individual student athlete. There are around 180 plays in a game, and that number has been pretty static for a number of years.
Troy Dannon leads the competition committee for Division I football. On Wednesday, they formally recommended 3 changes. Keep the clock running after first downs, stop teams from calling consecutive timeouts, and eliminate untimed downs when a quarter ends in a defensive penalty. Coaches like Georgia's Kirby Smart say they need to find a balance that maintains the unique nature of the college game while keeping players safe.
I wouldn't sit up here and say I'm in favor of shrinking the game. I do think our game has gotten
long and there are a lot of plays. So it's probably boils down to what's safest for our players without changing our game.
The committee also considered keeping the clock running after incomplete passes, but coaches felt that proposal would have too big of an impact on how the game was played. It's no longer on the table. Dannon said the 3 accepted changes should shave an average of 7 to 8 plays off of each game.
So, not a lot, but 7 to 8 plays over 12 games is really about half of that 180 total. So we don't think it'll have a significant impact in how the game is played, if any impact, but yet take quite a few exposures off.
This batch of changes is focused on player safety rather than addressing the length of games, which have steadily crept toward an average of 3.5 hours over the past decade. In future years, the committee plans to take a look at streamlining replay reviews to keep games moving. This year's proposal will be voted on in Indianapolis this Friday and could be formally adopted by the end of April. For ESPN, I'm Dan Murphy.
The Rules Committee and Competition Committee meeting jointly this week, and as you heard, the Rules Committee expected to make public Friday any proposed changes that would ultimately have to be approved by the Playing Rules Oversight Panel in April. Optimism in Baltimore? Perhaps. Sports Center All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and we couldn't be busier. Aaron Rodgers, could he be on the move? Baseball's pitch clock, will it ruin the sport? We're talking about it all. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN app.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535.
The Bart and Hahn Show.
Receivers in today's game are really more important than running backs.
It sounds more like it's about Saquon than it is Daniel Jones.
Because to me, Saquon is the expendable. It's much harder to find Daniel Jones than it is to find Saquon Barkley. You got to ask yourself, would I much rather have Saquon Barkley and Alan Lazard? Or would I rather have Kareem Hunt and DeAndre Hopkins?
Bart Scott and Alan Hahn. Weekdays at noon on 98.7 ESPN.
I'm Martin Hope, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN90 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN90. for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code EARN90 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
ESPN New York, everywhere.
Whether you're driving in your car
Or riding the LIRR, ESPN New York is never out of reach.
we're going to try to touch as many of you as possible.
No matter your listening routine, never miss Stump Rothenberg for your morning run.
I have a lot of knowledge.
Never miss the Power Hour. Due to your power lunch. And never miss an ENN. Again. Hailing a cab, catching the train, or boarding the bus. The ESPN New York app is your ticket to ESPN New York everywhere. Download the app today. Names, the biggest games. They're all right here. This is 1050's ESPN New York.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
Sports Center All Night, presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average. Call or click today. Find out if they could save you hundreds on your car insurance.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center All Night.
Suns pick up a win in Kevin Durant's debut. He scores 23 in the win. Bucks also win. They extend their win streak to 16. Speaking of teams in Wisconsin, Aaron Rodgers says soon.
There's a finality to the decision. Aaron Rodgers will not be a Green Bay Packer this season coming up. And I don't make it lightly.
I think that this is Aaron Rodgers coming to grips with potentially leaving a place that he's been for 18 years.
I'm sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers and the whole process. So imagine being the team.
Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, and the Packers are motivated to move on.
But this is my life, and I'll make a decision soon enough.
Aaron Rodgers making an appearance on the Aubrey Marcus podcast, which dropped Wednesday, more than an hour and a half worth. He says he found peace during his 4-day darkness retreat, says he'll have a decision to announce soon enough. As for the naysayers,
I've been doubted before. And look, honestly, I felt in the first year that Matt was here, Matt was in Green Bay in 19, I felt at times like a game manager. Like it was just, I didn't quite understand what we were doing at times on offense. And my job was to take care of the football. And I did, I threw 4 interceptions and 26 touchdowns, and we were 13-3. But I felt like there was so much more. And, then they drafted my replacement. And then I won MVP twice. And I threw, 85 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 2 years. And obviously there were some changes that happened on the team and the coaching staff. And I didn't have my best year plan. And there's probably people that think I'm done. I thought I was done before I became COVID MVP twice. Again, there'd be plenty of inspiration down that road.
so there are a couple of options on the table for Rodgers: return to the Packers or be traded elsewhere. And this could be the time for the latter, says Bill Huber from Fan Nation's Packers Central.
From Rodgers' perspective, he wants to win a championship. I don't know that these guys are ready to do that. So it might make sense from his perspective. And from the team's perspective, this contract is the most bizarro thing ever, where if he plays this year, it opens up an option where, usually the dead money gets less as far as the contract goes. This one actually gets worse, right? Like, this is the least worst time to get rid of him. If he plays, if they get rid of him now, it'd be like $40 million of dead money. If they get rid of him next year, it's like $60-some million. It's the strangest contract ever. So contractually, it makes sense. They traded up to get Jordan Love. At some point, the guy's got to play. The Packers keep saying that he's ready. Well, if the guy's ready, it's time to go play him.
That's if Aaron Rodgers leaves. Jordan Love would take over as QB1. What if Aaron Rodgers comes back?
The minute Aaron Rodgers and Brian Gutekunst announced that he's coming back to Green Bay, I would believe 1 minute later, Jordan Love's agent will be on the phone saying, hey, we would like to be traded. And obviously the Packers don't have to do it. They're under no obligation to do so. But from Jordan Love's perspective, you're screwing with the guy's money, right? He's entering year 4 of his rookie deal. I mean, that's it. The guy needs to play. A, because he needs to play, but B, he needs to play to make money on his next contract. So I would think he'd want out. And, the Packers are a well-run organization. They're a well-respected organization. And if it were to come to that, I would probably suspect that they would do it for him.
And Aaron Rodgers says, we'll know soon enough. Sports Center All Night, ESPN Radio. Speaking of quarterbacks with uncertain futures, there's Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. The two sides have yet to reach a deal. The franchise tag deadline is a week away, but Coach John Harbaugh still has praise.
I think Lamar has done a great job in terms of developing as a quarterback and winning football games and competing and doing all the things that he does. I feel like we've done a great job in terms of bringing out the best in Lamar over the years. And it's just evident in the way he plays, And so he's my quarterback. He's my guy. I love him. As a coach, I'm looking forward to seeing it get done, but it's not easy.
Harbaugh says Jackson is his quarterback, but what about getting the business aspect done? Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta.
Well, you can't win in this league without a strong quarterback. I mean, that's been proven. So we want Lamar here. We think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's certainly one of our best players, and we want him back. And so, yeah, we understand that. Living in a world without a quarterback is a bad world to live in. And I think there's a lot of GMs and coaches who would probably say that, who are living in that world right now. We're aware of that. I think we've been blessed since 2008 to have Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. And my goal is to continue that.
DeCosta says he remains optimistic regarding Lamar Jackson's negotiations. ESPN's Jeff Darlington says there may be a silver lining in what's being said here in Baltimore.
I'm not naive enough to watch these press conferences. I've sat through enough of them, asked enough questions to understand that people will lie and they'll say what you need to hear at that moment. But when I do listen to DeCosta and Harbaugh there, I'm at least feeling a little bit more optimistic about the direction of Lamar Jackson's contract negotiation. This comes 24 hours after Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst stood up there and made us all feel like, oh, wow, this is unsettling. It feels like they are headed in very different directions from Aaron Rodgers. Meanwhile, in this case, they're saying we haven't decided what tag, whether the exclusive or non-exclusive, that we'll use, and we have optimism moving forward. To me, it sounds like they're still at least living in a world where they envision getting a contract deal done. And if Lamar Jackson was still with feet in the ground, I'm only taking a fully guaranteed contract, and they were feet in the ground, I'm not, I don't know that we would get that same optimism. So look, I'm not saying it gets done. I'm just saying those words, they mean something to me.
And we shall see what will happen in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. We heard Ravens coach John Harbaugh say Lamar is his quarterback. In Dallas, a similar sentiment from Mike McCarthy regarding Dak Prescott.
He's getting ready to take another, turn as far as a variation of what we're getting ready to do. We're going to build it off of what, he has established. My decision to stay with his concepts and so forth is still intact because I wouldn't have did what I did in 2020 if I still didn't believe in him. And we obviously, as an organization, myself included, feel very strongly about him as our future, and we will definitely build this thing around him.
Mike McCarthy's still high on Dak Prescott, and speaking of quarterbacks, Derek Carr is a free agent. He's been making the rounds. Carolina coach Frank Reich.
Good meeting with Derek. Really have a lot of respect for him as what he's accomplished in his career, the kind of player he is, the kind of person he is. Just see is this the right fit? Is this an answer? And I think, part of that is, this is a good option. Every option is on the table at this point. Every option, moving up, moving back, signing a free agent. Every option is on the table. I mean, it has to be. You have to, this is a huge decision.
Options on the table for the Panthers, and, of course, there are options on the table for Derek Carr. ESPN's Dan Graziano.
I don't know why he'd be in a hurry. I think he would probably want to see how the Aaron Rodgers situation shakes out before committing somewhere. But I would think, you're 2 weeks away from other people becoming free agents, like your Jimmy Garoppolo's and Geno Smith's and, quarterbacks of that ilk. So I think he probably wants to get somewhere before he has a lot of competition for his services. Seems like it's starting to crystallize, right? He's talked to the Jets and the Panthers and the Saints, and those feel like the most likely teams. You never know if somebody else jumps in on it. But I would think he would hope within the next week or two to have something settled before the market begins in earnest, and he runs the risk of sort of being just another name out there.
A lot of decisions to be made here in the NFL offseason. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio.
Durant trailing the play, hesitates, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. There you go, the first bucket for KD in the Suns uniform.
I'm glad my knee's back right. I'm glad I'm just on the road to playing more and more minutes each game, and I'm looking forward to what we could go from this.
Suns beating the Hornets 105-91. Kevin Durant in his Suns debut, 23 points. Suns shooting 59% and averaged just over a point per play when Durant got a touch on a possession. Not a bad first outing. His new coach, Monty Williams.
As far as Kevin is concerned, he's, just as efficient as, he's always been. And even though we've scripted a lot in practice and he's done a ton with us, when you get out there on the floor, it's a totally different deal. So there were some hiccups tonight as to like what play we were running and that kind of thing. And it's just pretty cool to be able to, give the guy the ball and he can get to his spot and get a really good shot. And I thought the team fed off of him just being himself.
Devin Booker getting a chance to play on the court with him as well.
It was a good time. I enjoyed it. Kev's somebody that I have high respect for, and it's one of those moments that it doesn't really feel real. I'm gonna take it day by day. Just watching him from a little bit closer. I can't say it far no more, but it just brings the best out of everybody.
Devin Booker, KD, and the Suns getting a win in Kevin Durant's debut with Phoenix. Sixers a win over the Heat, 119-96. Sixers with a 23-point win, their third largest this season and the largest in Miami since 1990. Pelicans getting buckets from Brandon Ingram.
Leave it for Najee. Floated up. That's too strong. Didn't get a roll. Rebound Herb Jones, though. Back out long to Murphy. Up top, McCollum. Chest it to B.I. Right wing three. Get in there, B.I. Shot clock at 5. Ingram looking for the dagger. Pulls up from 10 off the glass. In and out and back in again. That might do it. Ingram. And even 40 for his troubles tonight. He was huge.
ESPN New Orleans, Brandon Ingram, fourth 40-point game of his career, all of them with the Pelicans. They beat the Blazers 121-110. Grizzlies a 113-99 win over the Rockets. Desmond Bane with 30 points, his first 30-point game since early November. Very tightly packed Western Conference. Golden State Warriors hovering in the number 5 spot at the moment. 2 games over 500, and according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, about to get one of their stars back.
Steph Curry's return is fairly imminent now in Golden State. I'm told he's expected to be back on the road trip that begins Sunday against the Lakers. And one of those 3 games, they play the Lakers on Sunday on ABC, Tuesday in Oklahoma City, and then Thursday in Memphis. But the expectation is that Steph Curry will return sometime on this trip next week. And listen, for a player who's been out since February 4th, certainly integral to everything this Warriors team does, for them to be in 5th place in the West with him on the cusp of his return, I think they weathered his absence and getting back Steph Curry. And then, of course, Andrew Wiggins at some point here. This is a Warrior team that still has time now to make a run in the West.
Golden State at 32-30. They've won their last 3 games. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. Looks like we have some changes coming in golf. PGA Tour Policy Board voting to dramatically change the format for future designated events. And those 8 events starting in 2024 will have smaller fields and no cuts. To the guys at PTI.
Wilbon, will this strengthen or weaken the PGA Tour?
Tony, I don't think it's going to do anything to the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour is fine. I think there's a sort of an overreaction and then perhaps even an overcorrection, if you will, in reaction to LIV. And I get it. They needed to react to this. And by the way, so much of what Phil Mickelson said at the time and was pilloried for has come to pass. And Phil might have done it, a little clumsily or very clumsily, but he was right. And the PGA sort of reacted by adopting half the things that Phil suggested at the time. I don't think it's going to do anything to the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour has been fine, is fine, will be fine, and will continue to act in accordance to what LIV does. React, that's what rivals do. That's what you do when you think there's a threat perceived to your business model. But is it going to affect the PGA in any tangible way? Not to me, not as an observer.
Okay. They're going to have, as an observer, it will affect it, and I'll get to that in a second. They're going to have 9 designated tournaments. They're going to have fields of about 70 players, and they're going to have no cuts. So what the PGA Tour is doing to fight the Saudi Tour is becoming the Saudi Tour. And you're 100% right that Phil was 100% right. Look, this is going to help their television ratings because there are more tournaments with Rory and Rahm and Spieth and Colin Morikawa and Justin Thomas. They're going to be at the top of the board all the time. It'll help their ratings in that regard. I am not thrilled about this. And the reason is I think that this hurts the golfer ranked between 70 and 90 or 100 who's trying to get out there as often as he can and get in a tournament and make some money and go up the charts. This is going to be harder for him now. Now the PGA Tour is going to be like Q School, that you're going to have to win the tournament that you're in to move up. I think it's going to be sort of like a closed set, and I think it's going to be a golden corral fountain of money for Rory and Rahm and people like that. And other guys I think are going to be left out in the cold. I'll just say this, that no cut. Jay Monahan looked at no cut in the Saudi Tour and said it was garbage. And now he's got it.
One of the arguments against the Live Series initially was that no cuts equals a lack of competition because you're not fighting to make it to the weekend. See how the changes affect the PGA Tour. Straight ahead, he does it again on the ice. Sports Center All Night continues. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up Thursday, it's Duke versus North Carolina this weekend, and I need a win. My former coach, the legend, Coach K, at 9:30 Eastern. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, and ESPNU.
More Sports Center All Night. Next.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
The Knicks, I'm not thinking get in at 6. I'm not thinking 5. I want 4.
As long as you're in that 4-5 matchup, that's all that matters.
I don't think it's realistic to think you can win a playoff series against Cleveland. That's as far as I look at you can go right now. My issue would be, how do they get better? So I'll take what I can get, and that is compete, maybe win the first playoff series.
DiPietro and Rothenberg, morning 6 to 10 on 98.7 ESPN.
Hey guys, Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Batfitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower, customized just as I wanted with only one installer in the home. Process was so easy, there's no demolition, which keeps the cost way, way down. Batfitter is a permanent solution, no cover-up, plus a lifetime guarantee for as long as you own your home. Over 2 million happy customers like me and my wife, and for a limited time, get no interest and no payments for 12 months. So start designing your bath today like I did at batfitterdesign.com. There's only one Batfitter.
Tens of thousands affected by the toxic water at Camp Lejeune are left with death, cancer, Parkinson's, dementia, birth defects, and other serious illnesses. And along with the harm, so many worries.
My family drank the Camp Lejeune water. What if our health gets worse and we need more financial help?
How do I protect my VA benefits and get the compensation I deserve and need?
The answer is simple. Call James Harris Law, the experienced, trusted law firm that can get you significant compensation while protecting all your VA benefits. We're already fighting for hundreds of Marines, families, and civilians who drank Camp Lejeune water. But if you miss the deadline, you could forever lose your right to the justice you deserve. So call our Camp Lejeune legal helpline now. Now may be your last chance to receive full compensation. Don't delay. Call 800-214-8822. That's 800-214-8822. 800-214-8822.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Don't miss the #1 rated afternoon drive show in New York. It's the Michael K. Show. And it's every weekday at 2:55 on 98.7 ESPN.
Sports Center All Night continues with Jay Reynolds.
We're taking you to TJ and Max, 6 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN Radio. Sports Center All Night is presented by Progressive Insurance. NHL action on Wednesday. Oilers a 5-2 win over the Maple Leafs, and Connor McDavid does it again. Couple of goals and an assist. His fifth consecutive game with multiple goals. Tied for the second longest streak in NHL history. Longest since Alexander Mogilny in the 92-93 season. Connor McDavid has 55 power play points this season, 2 shy of tying Wayne Gretzky's single-season franchise record from the 1981-82 season. Devils a 7-5 win over the Avs. Devils' 40th win in 60 games. Rangers a 3-2 win over the Flyers in overtime. They've won 2 straight after a 4-game winless streak. Capitals a 3-2 overtime win over the Ducks. Tom Wilson with 2 goals, including the game winner at 69 seconds into overtime. Sports Center all night, ESPN Radio. College basketball Wednesday. Number 22 TCU, 75-73 win over 9th-ranked Texas. TCU's first regular season win against a ranked Texas team since 1987. Vanderbilt by 2 over Kentucky, 68-66. Kentucky went into the game as a projected 6th seed, according to our Joe Lenardi. Second-ranked Alabama rallies, beats Auburn in overtime, clinching the SEC regular season title. ESPN analyst Patrick Young and Damian Fishback.
Everybody talks about Alabama's ability to knock down threes, but it's the paint in which is how they punish you the most. They were plus 20, 42-22 in winning points of the paint. When you play against the Crimson Tide, you hear about Brandon Miller, his ability to shoot the threes. You hear about their depth, but that is all created off of the dribble drive. If you cannot keep them in front of the basketball, which is extremely difficult to do when you turn it over, Auburn with 18 turnovers, that's how they beat you. They get into the lane, they drive, they dish, and they continue to win basketball games, Patrick.
We know the DNA of Alabama, layups, threes, and getting to the free throw line. Yep. When they focus on attacking the paint in the manner in which they did, and also getting on the glass, Auburn just struggled in having any resistance for that Alabama. And it's crazy. Once Charles Bediako and Riley Griffin were ejected, you would think, oh man, how are they going to withstand not having those guys? The response from that fire, it was elite. It was absolutely elite.
And Alabama clinches the SEC regular season title. Alabama trailed by 17, tied, battled back. Auburn hung right in there, as we will hear in top sounds. For that, we turn to Kevin Winter.
Number 5. Jay, everything from Wednesday night comes from the hardwood. It's either the NBA or it's from college basketball. In fact, go to college in a moment, but let's start in the association where Philadelphia was on the road visiting Miami. The Sixers did not have Joel Embiid. It also did not slow them down. They still had Tyrese Maxey. He knocks down a long-distance shot. The call from Tom McGinnis, 97.5 The Fanatic, as the Sixers punk the Heat.
Maxey on the right side. Duncan Robinson has him. He'll take him off the bounce. Another step-back 3. Got it. Maxey drills it. Trifecta. Ball game. See ya. South Beach. Maxey for 3.
Number 4. Jay, here's our play from the college hardwood. Auburn led by 17 in Tuscaloosa. The Iron Bowl on the hard court. But Alabama would lead late until Auburn ties the game on the Auburn Sports Radio Network.
In and out. Rebound Flanagan.
There we go.
Up the floor, it's Swindle. Down the lane, Flanagan to the hole. He's tied the game.
Number 3. Jalen Brunson had an absolute monster first half for the New York Knicks. Maybe more impressively, he got Tom Thibodeau to actually smile and laugh in the second half. That's how good the Knicks are right now. Back to the first half with Ed Cohen on ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
5 to shoot. Idaho Claus. Brunson the drive. The leaner. Got it. Brunson with 30 in this first half. Knicks up 81-54. An 80-point first half.
Number 2. All right, Jay, not to overlook it. The story of the night was Kevin Durant making his debut for the Phoenix Suns, his return to the basketball court since January 8th, when he then played for the Brooklyn Nets. KD and the Suns visiting the Charlotte Hornets. Chew them up. Buckets 1, and then eventually, whatever it was, the call from Arizona Sports 98.7 FM.
Booker able to track it down, gives to Paul, who fakes the three. Now Durant trailing the play, hesitates, takes it to the rim, and lays it in. There you go, the first bucket for KD in the Suns uniform, and it comes on a dribble drive and a left-hand finish off the window. Number one. Here's Jock Landale getting the inbounds pass, dribbles left side and gives to Durant. Pull up 20-footer, count it, and the foul as he gets knocked down to his backside. KD with a deuce and the damage.
Durant with 23 on 10 of 15 shooting. How'd he play?
It was solid. I felt like I should have made about 4 more shots. I felt like I turned the ball over a couple times off the trap. It was just getting used to that again. I lost the ball off the handle, going to my left, so I got to get that stronger too. So just looking at the stuff I didn't do well and seeing how I can turn that into a strength next game.
Suns get a win with their newest acquisition, ESPN analyst Tim Legler.
Kevin Durant will take the ball into situations that don't look advantageous in any way because of the traffic there, but he's got the ultimate weapon in any situation because of that shooting ability and the 6'11" height to get it off even in traffic. You can have the right personnel, you can have the right scheme, you can execute it perfectly, but this is maybe one of the greatest mid-range players this league has ever seen, so he's not threatened by any of that. He knows he's got the ultimate hammer, and to look that efficient in his first game after a month really just kind of blew my mind tonight.
The Suns' next game is tomorrow in Chicago. That'll do it for SportsCenter All Night. I'm Jay Reynolds. It's Thursday, March 2nd, birthday of Ben Roethlisberger. He's 41 today. His career, of course, is over. There are other NFL quarterbacks whose careers are at crossroads. Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Much more reaction this morning on KJM. They're next. It's ESPN Radio.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio and ESPN 2.
Automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year. Which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
ESPN New York, everywhere. Whether you're driving in your car or riding the LIRR, ESPN New York is never out of reach.
We're going to try to touch as many of you as possible.
No matter your listening routine, never miss Stump Rothenberg for your morning run. I have a lot of knowledge. Never miss the Power Hour. Due to your power lunch. And never miss an ENN. Again. Hailing a cab, catching the train, or boarding a bus. The ESPN New York app is your ticket to ESPN New York everywhere. Download the app today.
The 2023 A10 Men's Basketball Championship returns to the bright lights of Brooklyn and Barclays Center, March 7th through 12th. Join your fellow fans and cheer on your team as they vie for the A10 crown and an NCAA tournament berth. The 2023 championship offers something for everyone, from fan-friendly ticket packages to an exciting new format. For tickets, go to SeatGeek.com. The 2023 A10 Men's Basketball Championship at Barclays Center, March 7th through 12th.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. And if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
1050 ESPN New York. The biggest names and the biggest games. WEPN New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Finally, the test drive is over for these Suns. 2 weeks, 6 days, and finally get to see KD on the floor.
It's a new team, new group. I want to do well. I haven't played in almost 1,000 basketball games, but today I was nervous. But once the ball was tipped, I just tried to go out there and play my game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Good morning, Jay.
What up, baby?
Well, that didn't take long for KD, did it?
I mean, I'm going to tout and rave about KD.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to say it was the Charlottes. It was Charlotte Hornets.
It's the Charlottes.
It's the Charlottes. I'm not even calling them the Hornets. It's the Charlottes. Okay, without LaMelo Ball, without PJ Washington, without Cody Martin.
You think they were at a disadvantage without those players? Without LaMelo?
I mean, LaMelo just broke his ankle off like a basic move to the bucket. I've never seen. I don't know what's going on with the Ball family. Lonzo Ball, LaMelo Ball. I need you guys to stay healthy.
Some guys are injury prone, man. Some guys are injury prone. Meantime, KD. What do I always say about KD? He's everyone takes this the wrong way, or maybe they take it the right way. I don't know.
Are you going to lead today with he is the most complimentary player in the history of the game?
Yeah,
I just hate it.
But
I can't call him complimentary.
But he is, because any team you could airdrop him onto any team that ever was, and from moment one he will make them better. He doesn't need the ball. Like, he scores so easy. What was it? 23 last night. But in the flow of everything, you don't have to design anything, just in the flow of everything, and the defense, and the size. I mean, it's crazy.
Let me say it a better way for you.
Go ahead.
Okay. He's the easiest superstar to play with.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the ball.
But it's a good idea to get it to him.
It's so efficient, and actually he makes a dynamic scoring guard. He makes their life easier.
Mm-hmm.
So Devin Booker should lead this team in points per game, because everything Devin Booker does now with KD on the floor, he's such a magnet. He attracts so much attention. He's a catch and shoot guy. He's a catch in 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, pass it, make a play. It just opens up the floor for D Book is about to be in heaven. Devin Booker, there is no excuse anymore for Devin Booker not to rise to that Kobe Bryant-like level, because with KD on the court, everything about the reads Devin Booker sees, the opportunities he's going to get, the playmaking ability he has. Last night, I think he had 7 assists in that game as well. It just opens up the floor for Devin Booker. His life is easier because of Kevin Durant.
Let me put it another way. No excuses for Devin Booker.
No.
Right? You got the leadership guy in Chris Paul. And you know my theory. When the best player on the team is not the alpha personality, that guy can't be the second best player on the team. Now you have a problem. It can be the third best player on the team. It can't be, if it's KD and Kyrie, it can't be Kyrie, because Kyrie's personality is too dominant as the second best player. It causes a problem. But it could be Draymond Green, right? It could be, because now you have, and that's Chris Paul on this team.
Look at this. So, Devin Booker last night took 26 shots.
Yeah.
26 shots, okay? KD was on the floor. KD in this game took 15 shots.
Yep.
So, just think what we've seen last night. And good win for the Lakers. Good win for the Lakers last night against OKC.
10 of 15 from the field.
Think about this. You saw AD took 18 shots, had 2 shots in the first quarter when LeBron wasn't on the court.
Right.
Devin Booker on the court with Kevin Durant. Oh, no, I'm going to take 11 more shots than you, KD. I'm going to be aggressive because the floor opens up like that for Devin Booker.
KD, how do you think you played?
It was solid. I felt like I should have made about 4 more shots. I felt like I turned the ball over a couple times off the track. It was just getting used to that again. And I lost the ball off the handle, going to my left, so I got to get that stronger too. So just looking at the stuff I didn't do well and seeing how I can turn that into a strength next game.
You know, it's funny. It's not even a humble brag. He literally, he went 10 of 15 from the floor, and he's like, I should have been 14 of 15 from the floor.
And dude, like it's an all midi team. Like and when I say by midi, that means like mid range. Like look at the shots you can see right now on ESPN2. He always gets to his sweet spot. Devin Booker always gets to his sweet spot. Oh, a little shoulder in your chest, create an inch of separation. Oh, I'm a 7-foot unicorn. I can just pull up and fade slightly away like Dirk. You can't stop it. D-Book gets into those gaps. And Chris Paul, one thing I always used to hate, Max, as a younger player, when coaches would say things like this, just let the game reveal itself to you. I'm like, no, I'm revealing myself to the game.
Right.
I'm attacking the game. Chris Paul, game just opened itself for him. He didn't force stuff last night. Oh, KD, you like it here in that operating system? Oh, D-Book, it's time to give you a couple looks. You're being aggressive. It's just him distributing the rock, making it easy for everyone.
Well, it's funny. You say it's the all-midi team. So the mid-range shot, because of analytics, went away largely because the most efficient, like it's guarded and not any more than a 3-point shot or any less at the time. And so it's like, well, for that, if you're going to take a long 2, you might as well take the 3. Same percentage practically that it goes in, guarded the same way, maybe a little lower percentage goes in, but you get 50% more points, more value. Score from the paint, easier shot, right? Or you go to the free throw line. So what happens is they stop guarding the mid-range the same way. Well, now it's easier to hit the mid-range, so it's not such a bad idea to take it anymore. These things are not static. They depend on the way the defense plays and all this. But the crazy thing about this team is, fine, try to take the mid-range away. You want to open up 3 for these guys? They shoot the 3 just like they shoot the mid-range.
But that's the beautiful thing about the style and game, right? It's like most people now, it's funny when you watch basketball, you were taught to run back and protect the rim, right? Now you see kids in AAU basketball running back and protecting the 3-point line. Like they're like, oh, we'll give you the layup, right? So think about that. Now you have shooters and you have guys that can take advantage of the mid-range game and get into those spots. And that's why you have people like DeAndre who just ate off the boards last night.
You think about what you just said. They're running back to protect the 3. We'll give you the layup because hitting an open 3 is it's like a layup. It's like for these guys, for these kids, it's almost like it's better than the contested layup, right?
And it gains more momentum when you make a 3 in transition. Think about it.
Yeah, and you get 50% more points. That's a big thing.
I mean, can I just we asked yesterday, which I thought was a pertinent question for the topic, Max. Mm-hmm. We talked about Aaron Rodgers and we talked about Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. And we said that the problem with these two players is that it's hard for people to compartmentalize their greatness on the field, their greatness on the court, as opposed to the drama around them, whether that be self-manufactured or just media manufactured, right? Kevin Durant has not played basketball in several weeks, stepped onto the floor in his first game, had 23 and 6 on 10 of 15 shooting. Like he didn't miss a day of basketball. What the hell is that, Max?
I think that there's a sense with Rodgers and with KD that you look with Rodgers, you go, why haven't you won more? Now, he won a Super Bowl, but because of the Tom Brady standard, everything's changed. You need to win more than one Super Bowl nowadays if you're a great quarterback. And so they look and they go, why? And then when you see personality stuff that's outside of what's normal, what you normally experience with the quarterback, you start to ascribe the lack of success to the personality. KD also, oh my God, he's better than anyone ever. Well, why is it that it's really been LeBron's era? Why has he won the only 2 with Steph and on that Warriors team? And so people start to ascribe personality. Well, it must be the personality because it's not the game, right? KD, you feel like you had to prove something tonight or last night?
New environment, new situation, new teammates. I always feel like I got to prove myself to my teammates and my coaches every day, no matter what I've done in the league. So, I feel like it's pressure on me to be who I am every day. And I put that on me internally, So Sometimes it's a balance though, because I might go think too much about the situation and throw myself off. So I feel like it's all healthy though, man. I got good intentions and I want to do well out there, and so I'm just trying to get comfortable.
You know what's crazy, man? I wish Q was on the show today so we could talk about it. But I think Max is basketball, being on the court, it was easier for me to be myself almost than it was to be off the court. Does that make sense?
You felt more yourself on the court than off the court?
Because I was in my safe haven. Like I was, like basketball to me was like key. Football was the key. It was something that I felt like I was an artist at it, that I just I fell in love with.
This is what you are supposed to be doing. This is where you belong.
Like the game and I felt as if we were one. And when there came times, and obviously there was a learning curve, you learn to assert yourself. You learn when to be passive, when to give into other people's personalities, or when to be the stronger personality in that moment. But damn, it felt like that was where I was supposed to be. And every time I hear Kevin Durant talk about basketball, the ball is home for him. It doesn't matter who he's playing with. That's where his home is. And that's what you hear about him. Like, that's the drive every day. I'm going to be better. I have to be better. I have no
Everyone
choice.
can relate to that, to the place where, whether it's on a field of play or not, the place where you feel home, where you feel like you belong, where you feel like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Is that
right?
the mic for you?
I would say what comes to mind for me has nothing to do, believe it or not, Jay, with sports. Well, it does have to do with sports. It was after my brother passed. I could not leave the house for about 2 weeks. I couldn't stop crying,
Yeah.
And finally there was a fight at Madison Square Garden, and I lived a couple miles away, and it was James Tony John Ruiz, right? And Tony's one of my favorite fighters to watch. And I thought, you know what? Let me try to get out of the house and watch this. So I go to the garden. It's the little room at the garden. And, I'm in the bathroom at one point, and I hear something happened in one of the undercard fights, and everyone's going crazy. And I hear the crowd. And I really, and what it felt like was, those are my people. That's where I should be,
Yeah.
That's where I felt like I belonged there. And it was the first time I remember feeling something other than grief. Yeah.
It's almost like you find, I'm curious. I would love to hear people call in and tell me, like, where is their flow state? Like, where do they feel at home the most in their lives? You know what I mean? Whether is that on your ride to work? Is that like while you're walking, doing a podcast, or something? Like, everybody has that sweet spot, man.
It could be like you had a spot that used to sit in high school, and like you hadn't been there for years. You went back and visited and you sat there and you go, damn, this feels right.
Yeah. Like, I got to go down to Duke, North Carolina this weekend. It's at Chapel Hill, and we're doing a half court shot. For like the State Farm half court shot where we try to give away $10,000. Like, because I made so many shots in my life and real time TV. Like, I look forward. That feels like home to me. I was like, are you nervous? I'm like, nah. I'm gonna heave up a shot in front of millions of people. Just that's what I would do at home by myself as a little kid.
888 say ESPN. Yeah, you can call in with your sweet spot, with your where you belong, right? Like KD, from the moment he stepped on the court last night, he said he was nervous. He turned the ball over a couple times, but he had to have felt this is where I'm supposed to be. By the way, we have the latest on top NFL draft prospect Jalen Carter, who has legal problems at the moment, and we're going to get into that. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Greeny, and we couldn't be busier. Aaron Rodgers, could he be on the move? Baseball's pitch clock, will it ruin the sport? We're talking about it all. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN app.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN17. Use code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
Because what could easily have happened today is the GM of the Packers could have got up there and said, yes, Aaron and I have been talking. He's coming back, and we're here to put the best team we can together around him. He could have said that, but that's not what happened, because it isn't the case. Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, and the Packers are motivated to move on. So he's going to play somewhere else.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on 98.7 ESPN.
We're back at Frank's Deli. Tony is next in line. He walks 2 yards to the counter. He's asking a question, and yes, he's got one of the new cash multiplier scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. He has the chance to multiply his winnings up to 100 times and win up to $5 million. Wow, we'll be talking about this play for a long time, folks. Just incredible.
Play the Cash Multiplier series for a chance to multiply your winnings dramatically. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I've bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every